Welcome to today's Hinckley Forum. My name is Rory Stewart. The Hinckley Institute of Politics is a nonpartisan institute at the University of Utah. The Hinckley provides an array of transformative experiences for students through internships, forums, and classes. Hinckley forums seek to foster public discourse and civil debate on the most current and pressing issues, bringing in local, national, and international thought leaders. Today's forum is titled Experience Makes the Difference. Learn about opportunities with the Hinckley Institute. We're excited to have Chase Nelson, our program coordinator, with us today. Chase joined the Hinckley Institute in 2025. He earned his Master of Public Administration from the University of Utah and leads the Institute's outreach efforts, advises students, and manages the Student Ambassador Program to connect students with internships and programs. We hope everyone considers a Hinckley Institute internship to jumpstart your career and open new opportunities for your future. Please join me in welcoming Chase.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everyone doing? Good. Wednesday, halfway through. Fantastic. Well, thank you guys for joining me and hopefully the free pizza. It's kind of a bait and switch, getting here like a timeshare. We give you free pizza just to talk to you for an hour about something that we have to offer. But thankfully, what we have to offer is student success, right? So raise your hands really quick, if anybody. Is this your first time here at Hinckley? Fantastic. So this is something new that we're trying to reintroduce back into the Hinckley Institute. Oftentimes, in my current position, I'm sending students out, to 150 to 200 class visits all across campus, as well as doing numerous tabling events every single month, doing our best to increase our outreach and visibility to all the students here on campus. Unfortunately, we can't reach everybody, and so this is really a fantastic opportunity for us to be able to speak directly to you guys, and so you guys have a comfortable experience to be able to ask any questions you might have about what Hinckley has to offer. So, a little bit about us. Let's see. 61 years now, Hinckley Institute has been here at the University of Utah. Just last year, we celebrated our 60th anniversary, which was a fantastic opportunity. We had a big event and got to celebrate everything that we've accomplished in the last 60 years. What started kind of as a smaller cohort sending out to DC has now grown into 400 to 500 students every single year that we send all around the globe. The mission, Robert H. Hinckley's mission here at the Hinckley Institute, was to promote civic engagement amongst our student base. And the primary way that we have accomplished that is through our robust internship programs. So you might be asking yourself, why does an internship even matter? I completely understand. And as somebody who's graduated within the last 2 years, I understand completely how busy each of your lives are, and that's just, we can't really afford to be taking time, especially out of our college career, to be doing some internship that may or may not get you paid. So here's the ways that we try to really encourage students and to incentivize why an internship is so important during your career. Enriching that college experience and building lasting friendships. So a lot of times we have students who, this is their first time away from home, or perhaps it's their first time out of their own home state. We have plenty of students who come and do a Hinckley internship who are coming from out of state. This is that opportunity to really build those friendships that hopefully are going to last you for the rest of not only your college career, but the rest of your life. And it's going to just enrich that college experience. We all know what a traditional college experience is going to be like. We're hoping to add on to that and hopefully add a little bit more academic and professional rigor to that to really make you stand out when it comes to time to graduating. Credits that count towards graduation. All of our programs, with the exception of one, is going to be worth anywhere from 3 to 12 credits. So you can get an entire semester's worth of credit doing an internship abroad in Australia, for example. Getting access to paid internship opportunities and scholarships. Like I've mentioned, it's an expensive world, and we have to be able to pay for the ramen at the union somehow. It's like $8 for one of those little bowls of ramen there. It's expensive. So we're doing our best to make sure that all the students here are to the best of our ability, have access to these paid internships. In the case that we can't, we really try our best to offset that with extra scholarship opportunities, most of which are only available to our Hinckley interns. So what's great about all of our scholarships is a big pot of money, smaller pot of students. You're not fighting every single person here on campus for a Hinckley scholarship. Discovering and exploring interests and passions. I'm sure every single person in this room has probably at some point in their academic career realized this might not be the path that I want to go down. And what it is that you wanted to do with your degree at the start of your undergrad or graduate studies isn't necessarily what you've decided you want to pursue upon graduation. I had that same experience. Hinckley internship is it's a lot safer bet there when it comes to figuring out, is this something that I want to do? For example, we deal with a lot of students who are interested in law school and wanting to be a lawyer. We partner with a bunch of law firms here in the Valley with our local internship program, where students can actually go intern at local law offices. Or if you want to work at the district attorney's office, you name it. We've had students who have come back and said, this is absolutely the career field that I want to pursue. We've had other students return and say, I want nothing to do with law, you know, and so it's a lot more expensive to realize that you don't want to practice law after law school. And so having these opportunities to say, is this something that I could see myself pursuing? For most of our students, it is. And this gives them that network opportunity to already get some experience in their field, to get to know some industry leaders in whatever sector it is you might be wanting to get into. And then gaining some hands-on experience and confidence is really what it's all about, right? When it comes to graduation, and this kind of leads into our second slide here, getting that kind of hands-on experience, a degree is only worth so much. What you learn isn't necessarily how it can be applied. And so getting to do both at the same time, taking what you're learning in the classroom, turning it into actual practical experience immediately at your internship site. This is just such an awesome way to actually see what you're learning come to fruition and to actually be used as a practical tool in your tool belt, so to speak. So graduating with those real world skills that matters, all those skills that you're learning during this internship and while you're completing your degree, as soon as you graduate, suddenly you're so much more equipped than some of your peers who maybe didn't do an internship. They either, for those of you who are fortunate enough to have a bunch of scholarships, or you have somebody maybe paying for your education, maybe you could focus on more time or on other things, but this is really that opportunity for students who want to be able to graduate with just a little bit more and give you a bit more of a competitive edge. Building that powerful professional network. What I already mentioned, right, is whether you're going to Australia, we have host offices all throughout Asia, maybe you're staying here locally, or maybe you're heading out to DC. Our goal is to put you in an internship and in an experience that's going to put you with like-minded individuals, with leaders of that industry. So whether it's going to be that we have, maybe it's the peers, that you go and do this internship with. This is the network that's going to follow you for the rest of your life, and especially now that LinkedIn has taken quite a hold on all of us. Being able to stay connected, like I said, whether it's with those people you do the internship with, or perhaps it's your supervisor or somebody else in the office where you're interning. That's the kind of connection that's going to last you forever. Developing and strengthening that resume. Unfortunately, a degree isn't worth today what it was necessarily worth 10, 15 years ago. And so graduating, as much as we all are friends and we love to be with our peers, unfortunately, they kind of become, I don't want to say your enemies, but you guys are working against each other, right? A lot of times you guys are all applying for the same jobs, trying to get your foot in the door. And so this is Hinckley internship experience, and this direct applicable experience to your respective fields is what's going to help you stand apart, because suddenly you have 10 people graduate with a degree in political science, for example. What's going to make one student stand apart out of that is having this direct applicable experience at one of our internship programs, which rolls right into our next one, boosting the chance of landing a job and hopefully starting the career with a higher salary. Again, we have to afford ramen somehow. It's a tough job market. So having that thing that stands you apart is hopefully what's going to also shorten the time that it takes you to find that job. Or if for undergrad students, you're interested in applying for grad school. As I mentioned, I was in the MPA program. We have so many students who are interested in public administration, public policy, law school, you name it. Both public, private, and nonprofit sectors. We want to ensure that all of our programming is available to students, everybody here on campus. And so this is also what's going to help you stand apart. If you're going into a competitive program, we have students who are going out to UCLA, for example, in law school. Having this direct Hinckley experience is what helps them stand apart when applying for more prestigious graduate programs once they graduate with their bachelor's here. So talking about some of our internship programs. Kind of working chronologically, our local program is really our kind of part-time. This is where a lot of students start when it comes to doing an internship here at the Hinckley Institute. Our Service Corps program, and we're going to talk about all these a little bit more in depth, so don't worry. Our Youth Service Corps program is going to function very similarly to our local program. It's going to focus more on the nonprofit sector. Our legislative internship program is great for students who are interested in policy and understanding the bureaucratic process of how laws are passed here in the state. That is a spring internship. Our DC internship is the one we're probably most well known for. We send up to 50 students every single semester to go live out in DC for the entire semester. And then lastly is going to be our global internship program. This one, as the name implies, takes you all around the globe. We have host offices in over 60 countries, and that seems to be growing every single day, something that we're very proud of. So looking at our local internship program, as I mentioned, this is kind of where students start when it comes to their Hinckley experience. Never are you is there a prerequisite? This isn't like other programs where it's kind of a step-by-step. You have to do our local to do our legislative. That isn't how Hinckley works. It just happens to be that our local program is where students feel the most confident as their first step. Maybe you don't want to leave campus just yet. Maybe you're at a point in your academic career where you can't really afford to be missing out on some crucial classes that require you to stay here in the state. That's where local is great. Real part-time, 10 to 20 hours a week. Here in the Valley, we have over 100 host offices. And as I mentioned, we really try to do our best to ensure that all students on campus, regardless of your background or whatever it is your major may be, this isn't just for poli-sci majors. This isn't just for students who are interested in working with a government office. Well, a lot of our offices do involve state agencies, local municipalities, and things of the sort. We really try to branch out and ensure that there's an internship opportunity for every student here on campus. With this program, as well as all of our programs, we also have a set up your own process where if you had an internship here in the Valley, for example, that you're able to secure for any given semester, we'll use summer 2026 for our example here. If you're able to take that internship, bring that host office to Hinckley with a supervisor, an actual place to work, kind of talk about how does this relate to your major. We can get that and get you enrolled in our what we call set up your own program, where you're doing this local internship. You just kind of do the legwork of securing the internship. The primary benefit to going through Hinckley entirely is because we have so many connections, over 500 host offices that we work with. We're able to take, when we interview you and actually sit down and understand what is it that you're hoping to get out of this internship. We're able to take that application material and send it off to a few different host offices and really cast a wide net. And oftentimes, and I'll also say from personal experience, a lot of organizations and host offices aren't as receptive to cold calling, so to speak, than they are going through official channels, where we've developed this relationship over the last several years with a lot of these host offices. We're kind of a front of the line when it comes to internship opportunities. And so this really is, whether it's your degree program that requires an internship, or it's something that you just wanted to do for your own personal reasons, going through Hinckley is absolutely going to be the way to land yourself an internship. As I mentioned, our Youth Service Corps program works very similarly to our local program. A couple differences though. We partner with AmeriCorps with this program, and so students are actually kind of hired by the university. Whereas the local program, we really do our best to put you in paid internship opportunities, as with the rest of our programs. Youth Service Corps is the only one that we can guarantee that you will be getting a paycheck, up to $18 an hour for only 10 hours a week. So it's a fantastic, if you're looking for like a part-time job, so to speak, that's also providing internship experience, Youth Service Corps is the way to go. This program is for students who are interested in the nonprofit sector. So, for example, we have students who are doing an internship with the Humane Society, $18 an hour, up to $2,500 in scholarships, just to hopefully not go home with 3 dogs and 4 cats every single week, because I know I would. It'd be hard. But, I mean, that's what they're getting paid to do, and it's awesome. They're getting college credit for it as well, so up to 3 credits for doing this program. Well, excuse me, 3 credits, not up to, but 3 credits. What's great about Youth Service Corps is that you can repeat it every single semester. So say there's a host office, we'll use the Humane Society again for this example. Say there's a host office you really enjoy working with, and it's a mission that you're really passionate about. They like you like the organization, they want to keep you as an intern. You can repeat this internship experience through Youth Service Corps, and you can keep repeating it for this, throughout the semester, or what am I trying to say? In upcoming semesters, maintain that scholarship eligibility as well as that $18 an hour. So this is a fantastic opportunity, again, for students who are interested in more of the nonprofit side of things, and again, are still looking for that more low-key, kind of part-time work here in the Valley. Our legislative internship. So this is a spring internship that our 2026 cohort, they're just wrapping up at the Capitol. What's great about this? This is a full-time 45-day experience during the spring legislative session here in Utah. You'll get paired a lot of time with a state legislator. As much as they wish they did, unfortunately, a lot of our state legislators don't have the money to fund any sort of full-time staff, and so they require and rely on our Hinckley interns and interns from throughout the state to help them during the legislative session. This is a fantastic opportunity for anybody who's ever been interested in understanding, as I mentioned, the bureaucratic process of policymaking and understanding how does something go from conception to law that gets signed by the governor. We have so many students, med students, for example, or prospective med students, who are interested in understanding how health policy comes to be. I always tell students that the laws that are passed on the Hill don't only affect poli-sci students, right? They don't only affect those who work in the government. They affect every single one of us. And so it is everybody's, in everybody's best interest to understand how do those bills come to be? How does that policy actually come into law, and how does it come to affect me? How do, what's the kind of behind the scenes? So yeah, first 8 weeks of this program is going to be working at the Capitol during that legislative session. With the final 8 weeks is going to be kind of a wrap-up seminar here at Hinckley. This is the only one that kind of has a real prerequisite, just because state rule says that students have to have 60 credit hours before they apply. So typically we'll see this being sophomore and up, unless you are a really ambitious freshman with a bunch of that CE credit. So, but otherwise, that's really the only prereq. Yeah, our DC internship. So as I mentioned, this is probably the one most people know us for. What is great about this opportunity? We send you out to go live out in DC as low as $1,000 for the entire semester, no matter what, whether it's spring, summer, fall, as low as $1,000 for the entire semester. This is a fantastic opportunity for students across all interests. I mean, you could be working at the White House, the Capitol building, the National Mall there, different think tanks and lobbying firms, if that's more of your style. One of my favorite opportunities that we have out in DC right now is the Adams Commission. It's a memorial project that's been tasked with developing a brand new monument there on the National Mall, celebrating the Adams family. And much to my disappointment, it is not the spooky Adams family, it is the John Adams, John Quincy Adams, and their respective families, right? It really is. It's such an amazing opportunity for students to go and get a firsthand experience, to be a part of developing a brand new monument there on the National Mall. As we all know, these kind of monuments aren't just popping up every single year, and so this really is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime experience. DC is pretty robust when it comes to its offerings, and so the opportunities that we have for students, as I mentioned, don't feel disheartened or feel like maybe I can't go to DC because I don't want to go work at the Capitol. I promise you, we can find something that is that fits your style or your interests when it comes to DC especially. So as I mentioned, as low as $1,000 for the entire semester. You'd be living out of the Orangey Hatch Center, which is a building that we own. We renovated it and opened it up back in 2023. So fully furnished. I mean, it's got some rooftop patios. I mean, it's got all sorts of things. Out of DuPont Circle, there's a metro station right there in DuPont Circle. For anybody that's been to DC, it, like most major metropolitan areas, is connected by a subway system that is fantastic. You won't ever need a car in DC because the metro is the way to go in DC. What is great? So, low as $1,000, Hinckley automatically awards a $1,000 housing scholarship to all of our DC interns. So we pay for that experience to go live out there. We do our best to place all of our students in paid internship opportunities in DC. In the case that we can't, we offset that with an extra $2,000 scholarship on top of that $1,000 housing scholarship. Really trying to get Hinckley's mission here with all of our programs, but especially with students leaving the state, is to make this as affordable and accessible as all. We don't ever want there to be a barrier in the way for students completing this internship, and we really do our best to ensure that it's affordable and available to every single student here on campus. And so yeah, we can house up to 50 students plus an RA, so 51 students are going to be there. It is an awesome experience to really get to know like-minded peers and to really form, as I mentioned earlier, that kind of peer group and those long connections and that network that you're going to build. This is the way to do it. Gina Shipley, the program director, will also bring in a lot of notable speakers who are out there in DC and bringing them to the house to kind of give keynote presentations. So similar to how our forum series works here, they do that in a more intimate setting at the Hatch Center out in DC. There's also a lot of pizza there too. So believe me, Hinckley's big on pizza. We'll keep you fed. But no, it's a fantastic opportunity, and it really is a cool way to see probably one of the coolest cities that I've ever been to. All right, our global internship program. So, as I mentioned, major hubs are going to be in Australia, the UK, and throughout Asia. This is, well, I lost my train of thought there for a second. So, with our DC and with every one of our programs, this is probably the widest net we can cast when it comes to what it is that you want to do and achieve through an internship. We send a bunch of communication and business students out to Australia, for example, to work with a startup bootcamp, which is this organization that helps brand new agricultural startups in Australia get off the ground. As we all know, startups don't necessarily have a whole lot of money, and so they rely on interns from all sorts of backgrounds to help them get off the ground. We send a bunch of engineering students out to China. What's great about that opportunity is that they pay for the entire thing. They pay for, the only thing that students are on the hook for is going to be their flights, their travel out there. But that experience, this engineering internship, covers the entire housing experience as well as the meals that they're providing. So super affordable. We reduced the rate down to $45 per credit hour for undergraduate and $60 per credit hour for grad students. What is fantastic, as I mentioned earlier about being a Hinckley intern, besides all the things I've already talked about, scholarship money. So with our global internship experience especially, we have scholarships that are only available to our Hinckley interns, as well as Jean O, the program director for our global internship, helps students understand and apply for all the applicable internship opportunities that are available to them through all the different organizations here on campus and with like the Utah System of Higher Education. I mean, there's like 4 other places where you'll be applying for scholarships to make this affordable. We have had students who have come back from a global internship and walk away with, $2,000 in their pocket. After paying for flights, after paying for meals, they walk away with money in their pocket just because of how kind of scholarships get paid out through the U. So it really is probably, and I'm not biased by any means, though I probably am, but it is probably the most affordable and accessible opportunity to go do a global internship and have a global experience anywhere on campus. So we have a lot of students. Do I have any freshmen out-of-state students by chance? No, that's all right. And I'll have you all tell your friends about this program. So something really exciting that the Hinckley Institute has to offer is this intern in your home state for residency. So for freshman students who are brand new to the university coming from out of state, if they're wanting to go home for that summer, but they're afraid because of that like 28-day, 29-day window that they have to leave the state, this is a fantastic opportunity to go home for the entire summer during your freshman year and still qualify for residency for tuition purposes. So what students do in this case is that they will go and secure an internship. So they can't have Hinckley set it up for them. You've got to make the calls and get those opportunities set up in your home state. Get that internship, have an actual place to work. It has to have some sort of academic rigor, meaning that it can't unfortunately just be like a lifeguarding gig, or it can't just be a coffee shop as much as I wish it could be. It can't, unfortunately. So it does have to relate to your major and have some sort of intensity to it that's going to be benefiting to or beneficial to you and your academic career. So getting that set up, having a supervisor, and as I mentioned, having an actual place to work, bringing that back to Hinckley. Talking with Gina, she's going to go and verify that the host office, that this internship actually exists, that you have an actual place to work, and that you have an actual supervisor. Doing this internship 10 hours a week, so it's really low commitment. Taking all that, bringing it back to Hinckley, we provide a letter of support to attach to your residency packet that gets sent off to the residency office. We ultimately don't make the decision for residency. However, we've never had an application denied for every student who has completely followed every one of these steps that we have. And on our website, you'll find hinckley.utah.edu. In our internship drop-down is a set up your own tab that'll break down the steps for this. It's under national, not DC. And that will really break down all the steps for any students, or I know not you guys, but if you guys have any friends who this might apply to, please direct them to our website, or please have them come into the office and have them talk to me, and I'm more than happy to help walk them through that process. So I already kind of alluded to it, but kind of in a nutshell, what our steps for an internship are. They'll differ a little bit between programs, however, pretty much the same process. You'll select an internship program and submit the online application. We ask students do not apply for more than one program for that given semester. What'll happen sometimes is, even though we do our best to communicate, because we have so many applicants, we can't always tell, all of our program directors, every student that has applied for a program. So sometimes we'll have students who apply for a local and maybe a youth service corps program. They accept a youth service corps program, they go radio silent on our local program, and it leaves this weird game of telephone. So we ask that you please only apply for one program for the given semester. Researching the host offices that are interesting to you. So once hopefully you've already done this prior to your application, but if you haven't, going on our website, there's a little host tab for every one of our programs on our website. There's a little tab that says host offices, very convenient, that lists a bunch, not all, but a bunch of our host offices for any respective program. That's a great opportunity just to see who is it that we partner with, and are any of those going to be interesting to you. And then actually having an interview with our program director. So after you apply, our program directors will reach out to you via email to set up a time to really speak with you. This isn't so much, it is an interview. What the purpose of this interview is to get an understanding of who you are as a person, what it is that you're hoping to get out of this internship program, and where are your interests, so that we know where to send all of your application materials to. You'll come to this interview with a couple of those host offices in mind, and if there's anything that might not be on our website, I promise you our program directors will know it. They're like a little Wikipedia when it comes to all their host offices. They know everything. But it's great. And so you'll talk about these interests, and they'll probably tell you about a bunch of host offices you didn't know exist, but are perfect fits. We'll send off all that information to those different host offices. They will then reach out individually and schedule interviews with you. You will then, once you do those internships, you get an offer from one of the host offices, and then you'll just let us know, hey, I got an offer for the Humane Society. I'm going to accept it. These are the terms of the internship. We say, great. Get you enrolled in our Hinckley course to get you with all the credit and all that good stuff that we already talked about. So this might look confusing, but I'll walk you all through it. This is, in a nutshell, what our application windows are looking like. So we just closed up our summer application. So they typically run to mid-January through mid-February, depending on the program. So Youth Service Corps just closed on Sunday, actually. Our local program closed on September 15th, and then for DC for the summer and global, January 15th was our deadline there. So we're going to be opening up fall here, and some of them have already opened up fall. I know global's open. I think DC is already open, which in fact DC will close March 15th. So we got about 10 days for DC if you wanted to go out in the fall. And then for fall, for our Youth Service Corps and local, those will be opening up soon. So you're always looking at 1 to 2 semesters in advance for applications. Where you're going to be looking at those 2 semesters in advance, global internships. There are a lot of checklists to make sure that you guys are good to go when it comes to leaving the country, especially for that long, with visa concerns, making sure your passports are ready. Earlier apply, the better, especially with scholarships. Applying too late sometimes can mean that the scholarship opportunities, some of them might have passed you by. You'll always automatically qualify for Hinckley internships. However, anything outside of the Hinckley Institute, there could be a deadline on it. So we always encourage students, if you're thinking about going abroad, especially and doing a global internship, apply as early as possible just to maximize your scholarship opportunities and consideration. It's also a great idea if you're wanting to apply for something super competitive. A lot of times we have students, for example, let's say DC, the only internship experience they want to do is at the White House. That can get really competitive. And so we always recommend students, why we consider this our priority consideration application window. The earlier we get those applications in, the sooner you are going to be considered for an internship experience and host office. The later we get in and applying kind of at the deadline of that, have an open mind. You know, if you're just like, hey, I know I just want to go out to DC, or I know I just want to go out to Australia, or I just want to do a global experience. That's great, right? That's why that semester in advance is what we recommend for students like that. And if you really do, I always tell students, keep an open mind. What I also recommend that if you're wanting to be competitive, and if, let's say, you wanted to start off doing one of our local internships or a legislative internship, and you know that you eventually want to go and do something out in DC, maybe very specific, having other Hinckley internship experience, while not required, significantly helps our students land positions at those competitive host office sites. And so having leadership or having like legislative experience helps them land more legislative, like leadership roles at the Capitol out in DC, and vice versa. Perhaps you go and do a DC internship with the Capitol, or at the Capitol, excuse me, and then coming back to Utah, suddenly it's a lot easier to get more sought after legislative internships here in the state during the session. All right, so some of our other programs, maybe you're not really able to go and actually do an entire internship for any given semester out in DC or around the globe. We have we have one brand new program. But we have two programs to alleviate that. So our Capital Encounter program, this is a spring program where students will spend the semester working on policy proposals and advocacy plans for any given topic, something that they're really passionate about. At the end of the semester, those students are going to go out to DC to live at the Hatch Center that I already talked about. You'll spend a week out in DC getting to explore the city and meeting. As you notice in this picture, we have Senator Curtis and we have Senator Mitt Romney, where students meet with members of our Utah delegation and actually have these and propose these policy proposals. Try saying that 5 times fast, policy proposal. But propose these policies to our delegation based on those advocacy plans that you will develop throughout the semester. This is a great opportunity, again, for students who are like, hey, maybe I can't afford an entire semester out in DC. You do all of the coursework here in Utah, and then as I mentioned, at the very end of the semester, you get to go spend a week out in DC. Students are only on the hook for flights and meals. We cover your stay while you stay at the Hatch Center. So this is the brand new program I was telling you all about. So our Global Encounter program functions very similarly to the Capital Encounter program that I just mentioned, but this is global. So you'll be traveling to London and Brussels during fall break, this upcoming fall 2026. Students, the same thing, are going to be spending the first half of the semester developing policy proposals and advocacy plans at the global stage. You will then, during fall break, travel out to London and spend that week in Europe speaking with members of the UN and Parliament and the EU and various leaders and NGOs out there in Europe. So again, this is a great opportunity if you've decided that, hey, maybe I can't afford for any given reason, maybe I can't afford to fall behind in class, I can't spend an entire semester abroad. This is great for those students who still want to get that global experience without really breaking the bank. And as far as we understand, students who are doing this program can also apply and qualify for the learning abroad scholarships that the university has to offer. So even if you're still concerned about being able to afford the flights and food while you're out there in Europe for that week, please let us know and we'll see what we can do about getting you scholarships. So other academic opportunities outside of internships. Hinckley Forums, I know most of y'all, I think, are forum series. And so for students who aren't aware as to what forums are, we bring in guest speakers, some a little bit more storied than myself, to talk about any given, a lot of times it's current affairs, community leaders, notable speakers who really have something interesting to say. Last semester, we brought in most of our Utah delegation to speak directly to students. And so this is really a great opportunity to get firsthand, to have conversations directly with leaders that are representing Utah. As I already mentioned, bunch of free pizza. So we almost always, in fact, we always have free food for those attending our forums. And so it's a great way to not only get some free food, but to really hear from some interesting folk. as I mentioned, so some of our courses that we have to offer here, Forum Series, Capital Encounter, Global Encounter. We also have a Campaign Management minor and class if you're wanting to learn more about what it means to manage a campaign. We have so many local campaigns that can't afford actual campaign staff and managers, and so they rely, again, on a lot of the folks that come through this program to run their campaigns. So if that's something that's ever been interesting to you, please let us know. The Hinckley Journal, if you've ever thought about getting published here on campus, the Hinckley Journal is the way to do it, so you're more than welcome to submit that. I think our window is closed for this year, but that'll open up again in the fall to apply and to submit any of your academic papers you'd like published. And then a bunch of academic scholarships. So if at any point you have decided that maybe interning isn't for me, Hinckley does have a bunch of academic scholarships that we just opened up. I think the window might have closed for a bunch of those, if not all of them, but please feel free to check out on our website. But yeah, those are just a bit more competitive, so I always suggest students do an internship because the scholarship opportunities for doing the internship, as I mentioned, big pot of money, small pot of students, so you're not fighting the entire campus for those. Some community and civic engagement, ways that Hinckley participates. So the Hinckley Report, this is something every Friday. Jason Perry, our director here at the Hinckley Institute, hosts this PBS show during the fall and spring semesters. What's awesome about this is that we just won an Emmy for the program. So they have regional Emmys, and we won one of them. And so getting to see an actual Emmy in person was pretty cool. I never thought I was important enough, so that was cool. It's a fantastic program where a lot of times, again, it's going to be similar to our forum series. We're bringing in a lot of notable speakers and members from the community with something important to say. Our HIP Talk speech contest. This is real exciting, and this will actually be taking place this upcoming April. This is a fantastic opportunity for any students who like to talk, which is most of us. So 2-minute speech contest. We'll have 3 preliminary rounds, and then we'll have a finals round at the very end of the semester. I think it's April 22nd right now, if I recall. But yeah, $5,000 to the grand prize winner for your talk, $1,000 for each runner-up. One of those is a crowd favorite. And so if you pack the crowd with friends and family, everyone can hoot and holler for you. It's $1,000 in your pocket. So this is paid out in scholarship money, except for if you were a student, for example, who's graduating that semester, we'll pay that out separately. But typically it gets paid out in scholarship money. But yeah, 2-minute speech can be about anything you want. Captivate the crowd and win $5,000. It's really cool. Andrew Goodman Foundation. This is something that I'm personally a fan of. You know, I'm really passionate about this. So the Andrew Goodman Foundation has this mission of promoting voting rights and civic engagement. So similar to what Hinckley has to offer, but we're a separate entity. And what we do primarily, and what I do and our AGF ambassadors do, we go out on campus and we really try our best to encourage students to register to vote and to participate every single year at every level of government, whether it's attending town halls or participating in local elections. Oftentimes we have students who are surprised to learn that elections do in fact happen more than every 2 to 4 years. There's elections every single year, and sometimes the most important elections and the elections that matter the most to you here on a local level are going to be those mayoral or city council races that can be determined by as many as 1 to 2 votes. We've seen that, every single election cycle we find local elections being decided by such a small margin. It really is the way for those who might feel that their voice might not matter. Every voice matters, by the way. But if you feel as though your vote might not matter at a more federal level, participating at the local level is a fantastic way to make sure that your voice is heard and that you are electing those that represent you and your community. And then lastly is going to be our Dan Jones Center for Public Service. We do a lot of polling, like for the Deseret, and learning more about citizen insights. And so anytime you see polling data and X amount of Utahns believe X, Y, and Z, chances are Dan Jones through the Hinckley Institute. So we're pretty proud of that. Alrighty. I've been talking to you all for 40 minutes now, so this is my opportunity to turn the stage to you guys and ask me any questions you may have, if anything. Yeah?
When you apply for the scholarship, about how long would it be until you get a response instead of your meeting with an advisor?
So you're talking academic scholarship?
Like when you apply for different internships, sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, great question. So typically what will happen is that students, once they apply for the internship, depending on how early you apply, um, we try to do it on a rolling basis, but if the internship program, especially for the summer internship, is pretty popular, we won't be getting back to you to actually set up the interview within about the week of the application closing. So using February 15th, for example, for our local program, within the next 2 weeks, and in fact, we're still doing it, we've been slowly sending out those invites. And so whether it's going to be the week before or the preceding week is typically when we try to get those invitations sent out. Yeah.
So like this, the Hinckley Summer 26 application is closed, but is there any health resources or guidance you guys can give for summer internships like this summer? Like if you're still looking on your own
Yeah.
for things through your own path, is there any help or resources I can get from you guys?
Yeah, if you,
Applying for the Hinckley thing?
for sure. If you want to reach out to me personally or talk to me afterwards, I'd be more than happy to help you out and kind of figure out where you're at, and we can see what we can do for you. Yeah.
For the global encounter in the fall
Mhm.
Next semester, I'm assuming if you did that and accepted
Yeah.
that and completed that, I'm assuming that would not bar you from being able to do any other like global internships later on.
Nope, absolutely not. Different course code. So, what we didn't mention in the slide, I don't think, or maybe it was on there. The application for our global encounter will be, or our priority consideration, is going to be April 1st with a hard deadline of June 1st. So that application is coming up quick, and that's also on our website. But no, it won't ever bar you. So it'll be different course code, and so if you did that and decided, hey, my week in Europe was fantastic. I want to go do my entire summer or fall semester, with the Europe or British Parliament. You're more than welcome to do that. You can apply for that. Any other questions for me? Oh, we love it. So, at any point, please feel free to pop in. If you guys ever have any questions with anything that we talked about today, our door is always open. We always have friendly student staff there to answer any questions. If you have any specific questions that maybe student staff couldn't answer, please always reach out to myself. My name's Chase, the outreach coordinator here at Hinckley. I'm almost always in office if I'm not out on campus, doing tabling or in classrooms. So please feel free to pop on in. You don't need an appointment to talk with me, so just come on in, ask for me. I'm more than happy to sit down and talk with everybody. Yeah.
Sorry, I had a question.
No, you're good.
I've done like 3 internships already.
Yeah.
Do you cap out? Do you cap out on credits?
So not really. No, there is like a max. We have to get a little funny with how we actually apply the credits and what class you're actually enrolling in. But no, there's not a cap. Any last questions? That was a good question. Thank you. So as I mentioned, please feel free to check out our website. It's always going to be the most up-to-date with any deadlines. A lot of times, as I mentioned earlier, our summer internship program for all of our programs is the busiest time. So I always encourage students to look at internships in the fall and spring. Going to DC in the spring, seeing the cherry blossoms, it's an amazing time to be out in DC. For anybody that's been out east, it gets hot and humid in the summer. So avoiding that, that's all. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I never cared for it. So being out there in the fall and especially the springtime, it's a little bit colder, is the way to go. But it is our busiest time. So please enroll or check out, our fall semester coming up. Those applications are already open or will be open within the next week or two. Any last questions before I set y'all loose? And please feel free to come up and talk to me. I'll be up here if you have any other questions. But thank you guys very much.